All right. What's up, folks? We are back live. And once again, we are here to talk about good old American violence. This level of violence is just as American as good sweet old apple pie. Not color pies, but good old apple pies. Let's talk about what went down today. And many of us won't know about it and may not heard about it because guess who you don't hear crying and whining about it? Donald Trump over there eating that bland ass, wicked ass, unseasoned goddamn food over there with Queen Elizabeth's son. I think he's still a prince. I don't know what the hell he is. But seeing these wicked, twisted ass people getting over here talking doggy language and eating old nasty food with all type of stolen shit over there. And you know what I'm saying? It may look nice, but to me it looked like wickedness. It's a wicked looking place. There's a lot of goddamn stories. Those walls can talk. But getting back into it, but you don't hear the whining that you heard when a YouTuber died who spoke a lot of that bigotry that Donald Trump once influenced to young children. So being these cops were not YouTubers, they get no play. They get no empathy and no sympathy from the people in this current administration of Donald Trump's. You don't hear nothing from Patel. You don't hear nothing from JD Vance. You don't hear nothing from Seg, whatever his name is. The little National Guard YouTubing punk, faking like he's some Green Beret and shit. You don't hear nothing from Donald Putin's little hoe, Trump. All quiet. You don't hear nothing from the little blonde bimbo that used to work at Fox News. Now she's somewhere else. You don't hear nothing from her. You don't hear nothing from the other dingback that sat there crying and whining when old boy lost his goddamn life at a Utah university. And his suspect being the same as the suspect who blasted 5 Pennsylvania officers out there in Cordis Township, Pennsylvania. I mean, laid them down. 3 of them don't survive. 2 of them in critical. They had a helicopter out there to transport these folks. And all these people sat there crying and wanted to put flags halfway down for a damn racist ass YouTuber. They silent today. And I wonder if the damn flags are going to have staff. Now, I was looking at something earlier before this news even came out about the question was asked, why didn't Donald Trump lower the flags for when the Minnesota state official was gunned down? And he said nobody requested it. That's how low down and scumbag that chump in the White House is. Not a word. Silent as a damn mouse. Now, this incident, you don't hear the rage from none of these people who blue lives matter when black lives are at the forefront, and they just jump in to interfere with ish. But they won't let this police incident interfere with the shit that they're trying to play games on the deranged and the ones who need to be really instituted of American society, who are brainwashed and dragged into the BS created by a bunch of suit wearing punks who want to act like they fucking Nazis and shit, but certified hoes who wouldn't bust a goddamn piece of wet ass paper, let alone wet tissue. But let's go into this place where the shooting happened. And always, when I have incidents like this, since Donald Trump and him love to play the racial game and the color of blue, the blue state, red state, the level of violence that goes on in the states. Now, these officers would not have lost their lives had the National Guard been placed in Codorus Township. If the National Guard would have been in Codorus Township. Now, some of the biggest news as of late, as it goes into this high level of violence, hasn't taken place where immigration is a problem. So he can't blame an immigrant for taking these people's lives. It happens to be where a lot of extremism shit is taught, being that university in Utah and also here in Codorus Township, Pennsylvania. When we look at the racial demographic, and I know Mark Sumner's is probably going to hide in the bushes, but he's definitely in here listening because just like the expert I am when dealing with people like Mark Sumner, there's somewhere there, anytime I have to highlight people who look like him and the level of violence that takes place inside of America. Now, we look in this township, 98.3% of the town is white. Not even 10%. No, that ain't 10%. Less than 1%. Less than 1%. That's 4/5 of a percent are black. So I don't know how you even factor that in with 3,500 people in this town. Black people may be, what did that be? One. It got definitely be one, maybe even two. It's only a percent. Native Americans who are almost extinct have a higher percentage in this town. That to let you know, this is probably a goddamn Indian. Well, all this is Indian territory. But before European settlers come here and the United States government, along with the British Empire, bring guns over here and pushing the natives up out of there. Even from way across the damn Pacific, Asians have found a greater place in this township than black folks. The Latino no, this two races or more. So the black people over there definitely impregnating some of the white ladies in there. Latino population is less than a quarter of a percent. So just to let you know what our suspect is. And for the fact that you really don't have a suspect, I checked on the internet and I've seen a guy they're posting as a suspect, but I don't want to put that person's picture on here without them officially announcing it. But we all know what the suspect is. Probably the same food they've been having on the internet. G Brown says, salute my brother. Salute G Brown. Bruce Gas in the building. Says Trump had Jimmy Kimmel show canned. Yeah, I seen that. And ABC may get canned they got themselves. I hope fans shift far away from ABC. ABC has become another one of these clown networks bending their knee. And what it also exposes is that these networks that have pushed off a lot of white propagated agendas in TV have received government subsidies, have been funded through government welfare, and therefore to not get their water cut off because they definitely ain't generating the type of revenue that they're able to pay out. Trump is over there bullying, playing bully ball, but it ain't going to work for the ones who bow to Trump. Because Jimmy Kimmel, I'm pretty sure, is a very powerful voice in the late night TV show or primetime TV that ABC will feel the effects of it. Because you also had, what was the other network? Was that NBC or CBS that turned off the Colbert show over comments to this clown in the White House? And the Bruce Gas says, full authoritarian move, man, for real. It's crazy. Philip A says, what happened, chat? And then Mark Nash in the building, salute. This is why I point out about the little level of coonery that we have from blacks that look like, that sound and talk like ignorant people like Pittsburgh T, who love to walk on their knees for Donald Trump, have no understanding of which way is up, and therefore you don't listen to people like that, who are that deranged and delusional, that anytime I talk about Donald Trump, here comes the old Negroes who can't read, always rushing to want to defend Donald Trump, jump in front of it to where now I got to talk about their asses. But I'm always right about these people because I've always followed history, know my history, know their history, know them, and therefore I can identify this shit before it happens. So once again, you have extremism coming from Trump Loverville, that a fool will gun down these cops, and as these cops lay down their guard for a person that looks like them, because their weapons are always on code. And these officers in this town probably have never had to use their weapons until it was this guy. They had pulled their weapons if a black person drove through this town. I'm very sure of that. But today, due to a lapse in their level of training and the dangers of this call that they should have responded more tactically. Now the department has to go through a level of training that new officers and current officers have to learn from, that all situations, especially situations relating stalking, domestic violence, should be treated of the highest of priorities. And officers should protect their lives so that way they're making it home and not going to a hospital or a morgue at the end of the goddamn day. It is just simple as that. And too much of this shit in this country, especially from these bureaus out here who don't investigate shit, and then you get the wrong regime of fascist ass people that are put in place by the ignorant people who turn out to vote and ultimately get fucked over, and now they screwed over. Then now they get their little stupid asses wake up call, which used to be called Negro wake up calls. Now it goes on all sides of the racial spectrum of America. You reap what your stupid asses sow. But that's all I got. RIP to these three officers. Prayers up for the two trying to recover from these wounds. But it won't be the end of it. I know I'll be back on here multiple times in the next 3 months that we have left in this year. But that's all I got. Peace, folks. I'm out.